Welcome back. We are at the NASSCOM Technology and Leadership Summit. As per NASSCOM, 2022 has seen very strong growth from the domestic market, but Europe has been a bit subdued. That's the word coming in from Debjani Ghosh. We also caught up with a lot of the other big voices from the world of technology, whether it's Ingram Micro's top executive Sanjib Sahoo. We also heard from Ashish Dhawan earlier of ChrysCapital, and now, of course, he's got a philanthropic bent of mind. Listening to all the big voices from the world of technology at the NASSCOM.
Could you start off by telling me, give me a sense of, how the growth was for the IT sector last year and what are we estimating for FY23?
So the growth last year was very good. Given that 2021 was a year of records and milestones, and given what was happening towards end of 2021 and beginning 2022 with the Ukraine-Russia situation, the global geopolitical dynamics, there was a lot of concern about what this would do. So I think the year was a very strong year of resilience, which resulted in strong growth. And I keep saying that in today's time of no normal, the industry has to build resilience above all. And I think our industry has done that, and it really paid off. So we actually delivered around a 9% growth in reported currency. And if you look at services, ID exports, in constant currency, it was actually a double-digit growth, which was fantastic. We added 290,000 new jobs, we added 18 billion in revenue, and we continue to be the trusted digital transformation partner for the world.
Right. And you did mention that there were a couple of headwinds, and client spending slowing down was one of them. Help me understand, which sectors are we seeing the slowdown in, and which geographies also?
I didn't talk about client spending slowdown. I talked about client decision making slowdown. Spending is not slowing down, and especially in recession and slowdown, people spend more on tech. Right. That happens every time. You can go back in history and look at it. What we are seeing is spending priorities changing. So people are spending on the now, here and now, which will give them the immediate results in terms of productivity and effect. But decision making is definitely slowing down a bit. But we will see how it plays out. But the need for digitization is not going away anytime soon.
Yeah, Ingram Micro is one of the largest technology distributors in the world. We are the actually brand behind the biggest technology brands. We serve more than 170,000 customers, channel partners across the world, and we also help more than 1,500 technology vendors, to bring technology to the market. And we operate in more than 59 countries, as you said, $54 billion revenue. So we are actually transforming one of the most complicated and big ecosystems, the technology ecosystems in the world.
So if I'm a company and I want to buy computers for my entire office, instead of going to Microsoft directly, I buy it through you, and the same is applicable even for, say, cloud or any other service? Is that how it works?
Yeah, what we do is we take technology, hardware, software from all these companies, and we give it to the resellers. So our customers are the resellers who actually get it to the end user. So we actually sell hardware, software, subscriptions, services, everything technology, and that's what we are.
You've launched a platform very recently, globally, called Xvantage, which promises a Netflix-like experience for all your customers and clients. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, very excited about it, Rima, about Xvantage. If you look at this, our industry, we do not have that consumerization experience in our industry. On a Sunday, we watch a game, we order food through an app, and on a Monday, we come to distribution. It's a very disjointed experience. We do not have that similar experience. So Xvantage is our new digital twin, a digital ecosystem that has an AI-powered self-learning way to actually customize the experience for our channel partners.
India is not a cheap market. It's quite fully priced. And so even though I'm bullish on the long term, I think one has to be careful in terms of selecting the right securities, focus on the right sectors. You can't blindly just buy the market, is my own view.
You can't spray and pray.
You can't spray and pray. There's no doubt
What about
that.
the global view?
I think globally I'm actually more bearish than India. I think Indian equities will do better in the next 10 years than developed market. So if you look like the past decade, and Ruchir Sharma writes about this a lot,
yes.
and I think he's right, that the US really did phenomenally well, and emerging markets sort of were waddling around. I think this comes in cycles, as you know. I think in that 2003 to 2008 period was the period of emerging markets. We did much better than developed markets. I think this is the period of EM now. And India being a preeminent EM because China is in the penalty box. So I think we have a real shot at goal.
Okay.
So I think we are better positioned than developed. Developed markets just have too much leverage,
right,
that they need to wean off, bad policies, I think, and just the demographics and productivity is low.
You said bad policy for the developed markets.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of what was done during COVID in terms of spraying money to people, and it was fiscally irresponsible. And I think that just generally, you look at population growth or workforce growth is very low, and productivity growth is very low. So I think the developed world will grow at 1 to 2% in the next decade. And equities, I won't be surprised if you have almost no return out of equities in the developed world in the next decade. Whereas
no return on equity markets in the developed markets over the next decade?
Yeah, I think very low returns or to zero returns. And so I think, and bonds also are in a tough place. So I think India, EM will do well, and India could be a shining star.
I have with me Mr. Janmejaya Sinha, Chairman of BCG's India practice. Mr. Sinha, thank you very much for joining in. Your session today at NASSCOM Leadership Summit is The Future of Global Economy, Integrated or Fragmented. Where do you stand on this, and how does this shape the macro environment that we're living in?
Globalization is a fact, it's not a policy. It is, the world cannot, fragment. The Cold War era is over. The world is much too integrated. The nature of collaboration will have different buckets. There will be areas of cooperation. There will be areas of accentuated competition. And there will be areas of conflict. So, I mean, this whole thing about deglobalization is the wrong question. It is de-risking. People will need to de-risk their operations. They will need to de-risk their dependence on feedstock over a certain amount on certain countries. That's what's happening. And I don't think it can possibly unwind. It'll just create more centers which will be integrated.
I want to talk a bit about growth and demand. Everyone's worried about growth falling off. Like the turbocharged environment that we were in post-COVID is now sort of moderating into a new normal, which will settle into growth rates that were there pre-COVID. Right? Where do you stand on growth? Globally, are we in for a recession, a hard landing? And if there are so many linkages, economic linkages, India has to the rest of the world, will India not feel the heat?
So, firstly, with so much uncertainty, any prediction is completely open to being proven wrong. Because there is so much uncertainty, I can speculate with everyone else.
But you have 25 years of experience, so we would like your speculation.
Exactly. You look at it, the whole world was saying Europe will go into recession. It still hasn't gone into recession. Russia was supposed to have shrunk by 15%. It's actually going to do better than the UK as an economy. The US, for all you know, will have a soft landing. The job market is still very tight, even as interest rates go up. So if you really look at it, it's a complex world. But within this complex world, we are well positioned. Now, with so much uncertainty, the capex cycle gets affected because you need predictability to invest, and some of that is now being affected. But overall, in the current context, with what the government is doing with its infrastructure spending, it's taking away some of the risk to actually invest right now. So that's a good thing. And then there are spaces which are going to play to an advantage. Care, the whole care industry, healthcare, but much more than that, convalescent, nursing. And on the other side, as you think about it, can that be combined with tourism? In a sense.
Medical tourism is already on the uptick.
Yeah, but medical tourism is very small right now. We talk about it more than it is. But it needs to really seize the opportunity that is ahead of it.
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Tech at Work. Thank you for watching. The news coverage continues on CNBC TV 18.